What's up, homies? It's Ryan, and we are back finally with our Seattle Mariners franchise here on Out of the Park Baseball 19, OOTP 19. It is Saturday, May 5th in the game. It is Monday, May 21st in real life. As you can see at the bottom right, I'm actually going to maximize my screen there, and there we go. So it's been a while. I got very busy around the time that I released the second episode, but we are finally all back home and situated. I've been back home for, I guess, about a week or so now. Got my nice gaming setup back. Room's all nice and clean. Everything's going very well in the life of Ryan Waldis. Never had a bad day in my life. So we are here. It is May 5th. As you remember, we left off at May 1st. We won the series against Oakland. Right now, we lost the first game to the Los Angeles Angels. We have 2 games left, so hopefully we can take a series win there. 15-17. Somehow we are only 2 games back in the AL West, and if we take a look at the actual standings and then go to wild card, you see we are 4.5 back in the wild card race. So not too much has changed over these first 5 days of the month. I wanted to start the video here because the draft pool has been revealed. As you see, the biggest anxiety for 2018 new young players is getting drafted. Now, the Seattle Mariners have the 14th overall pick in the 2018 MLB draft, so the odds of us getting any of these top 10 guys are probably pretty low, although some guys do drop for one reason or another. These are the top 10 guys. Nick Madrigal, I believe in real life he goes to Oregon State. Travis Swaggerty, Nolan Gorman, Casey Mize, I believe he's with Auburn. Ethan Hankins, Bryce Terang, Ryan Rollison, Matthew Liberatore, Brady Singer, I want to say Florida. Yeah, Florida. And who else? Logan Gilbert. So right now, those are the top 10 guys in the draft. As I said, we're probably not going to get one of those guys. We have the 14th overall pick. I believe the official pick value for that is the slot value is $3.88 million. I want to say the last time that I checked. But we'll just have to wait and see. The draft is in exactly 1 month from now. I've been perusing the waiver wire every so often just to see if there's any guys out there, not free agents, although there is one good free agent here, Trevor Rosenthal, but he's not going to be back for a while. Kyle Drabeck, fun fact, former Philly, he went to the Blue Jays in their Roy Halladay deal. I've been checking the waiver wire, and there's not really anybody. Right now there's Brandon Snyder, but not a lot of action on the waiver wire thus far. If we take a look here, go to reports and infos and team statistics. Really, we could use some help offensively, but I don't think Brandon Snyder is going to be that guy. We take a look at the lineup and we sort by OPS. It is not very good. Nelson Cruz, even at his age of 37, is leading the way offensively. And after Nelson Cruz, it's a bunch of nothing. Robinson Cano got suspended in real life. He did not get suspended in this. So let's just pretend in this universe he never did what he did. Kyle Seager is kind of had a rough start to the year. He's only hitting .246. His on-base percentage, though, that's what really concerns me, is only at .304. He has 5 home runs. That's tied for third on the team with Cano. Cruz and Haniger are tied for first. Haniger is not doing very well either. He's hitting just at the Mendoza line with a .294 OBP, the OPS at .723. So the offense is really letting us down here. Unfortunately, there's not really too much we can do in terms of calling somebody up. We take a look here at a Dan Vogelbach. I want to give him just a little bit more time. We have Gordon Beckham, but he's kind of out there. He's not going to fix the team. Cam Perkins, former Philly, he's not going to do much. So right now, our only hope is calling up Dan Vogelbach at some point or another and seeing how he does. But it does kind of worry me. He's only hitting .303, and I say only hitting .303 because he's in the Pacific Coast League. And in terms of the minor leagues, Pacific Coast League, it's extremely hitter-friendly. So I think, especially as we get towards June, depending on our record, we will give Vogelbach a chance. Because take a look at the lineups right now. We have Ryan Healy, who is really struggling to the tune of a 171, 212, 234 clip. But there's a reason that the Mariners acquired this guy in the offseason, so I'm going to give this guy a chance. We still have Etro. He is not yet retired in this save, obviously. He's only hitting .205, .250, .241, so kind of similar to what he was doing in real life before he decided to step away from the game. But we will wait and see. If we take a look here at the schedule, we have this 3-game set against the Angels currently ongoing, and then we go on a a 6-game road trip. We go to Toronto for 3, Detroit for 3, go to Texas for a couple games, then we have a 4-game set against Detroit, go to Oakland, and then we have a nice homestand with the Twins and the Rangers, and we go into June, the Rays, before we get to the Houston Astros and the Rays again. So I think I'm just going to probably simulate to the first-year player draft. I believe it is June 4th, I want to say. So we're going to simulate to that day on the calendar. Hopefully we have some good news. I don't think there's really any major injuries to talk about. We had Nick Vincent. He's day-to-day for 1 to 2 weeks. He had a sore wrist, so I didn't really want to chance it. We see Shohei Ohtani right now. We'll take a look at how he's doing. 3-3, a 3.86 ERA in 7 games started. He struck out 33, walked 17. Let's take a look at his batting stats. He has had 78 plate appearances. He's only hitting 203, 244, 297. So definitely not as good in this save as he is in real life, but we'll see if that changes as time goes on. But anyway, probably simulate to the first-year player draft. If anything notable happens, then obviously I'll cut back in, but I'll probably end up seeing y'all at the first-year player draft. All right, what's up, guys? We are here. It is the first-year player draft, Monday, June 4th. Your Mariners, 27-32. Somehow we are still hovering around 500. I don't get how it's possible, but we are. So that's all that matters. Take a look at the month of May. So somehow this team went on a 6-game winning streak, starting with that Texas Rangers series and going until the end of the Detroit series, and then proceeded to lose 3 of our next 4. You lose the series to Oakland, you lose the series to Minnesota, you lose the series to Texas, and now we get into June. We did win the series against the Rays, but somehow this team is only 5 games under 500, and I say somehow because we were hit very hard by the injury bug. Mike Zunino had a torn ACL, so he's out for the rest of the year. Cano, I guess fittingly, since he got suspended for 80 games in real life, was injured with a fractured fibula, so he'll be out for 2 to 3 months. Ryan Cook, who we just called up from AAA prior to the injury, so he pitched in 2 games, had yet to allow a run, pitched 3 innings. He had shoulder inflammation, so he's going to be out for 8 to 9 weeks. And then we had to call up Ray Navarro to replace Cano, and now Navarro's day-to-day for 6 days. David Phillips is day-to-day for 5 more days. He is still on the DL because he's injured, or he's not on the DL, excuse me. But anyway, it's somehow this team is 27-32. We are 3rd in the division, 7 games behind the Astros. If we take a look at the wild card standings, I'm almost afraid to check. We are 7 games out as well. So it's been pretty mediocre season so far for the Mariners. We did a couple small things. We traded, if we go to my mailbox, it'll actually be easier to do. So we made a couple trades. We made a trade with the Kansas City Royals. We traded Nick Rumbelow, who was a minor league arm for us. We traded him to the Kansas City Royals in exchange for this minor league right fielder, Elier Hernandez. Just something that I personally wanted to do. Outfield depth, why not? And we made another trade. We made a trade with the Texas Rangers. I'm trying to find where it is. In fact, probably it's going to be easier just to go to my transaction log. So we made a trade with let's go to May. Made a trade with the Texas Rangers here we go. So we traded 32-year-old reliever Mark Sapsinski and 19-year-old minor league starting pitcher Sam Carlson to the Texas Rangers, getting 20-year-old minor leaguer Tyler Phillips in return. So I traded the guy known as Scrabble because he was due $5.5 million this year. It's just he was not doing very well for me. I see he was doing great with Texas. He was not doing very well for me, and he did not want to be demoted. He refused to be demoted. So I had other relievers that I wanted to take a look at, so I decided to just trade him and try to get something. The reason I got Tyler Phillips, you can take a look at his potential here, is because this is a guy that I actually went to school with, like 1st through 8th grade. We went to the same school. I was never great friends with him, but I knew who he was. He went to a different high school eventually than I did. For those of you that are in New Jersey, he went to Bishop Eustis, a very good baseball program, and then he got drafted to the Texas Rangers out of high school. So he's just a guy I wasn't really necessarily friends with, but I knew of him. Same age as me, basically. He was born October 27th, 1997. So he's just a year, almost the same age as me. So I decided, why not? Let's get him on the team, see if he develops into anything special. But that was that. It is the first-year player draft, so we've got the first-year player draft. We should have 14, and we do. So we have the 14th overall pick in the 2018 MLB draft. So we're going to continue the draft, and actually we can take a look and see who the final top 10 list is. First-year player draft, so Nick Madrigal has dropped. He is not even in the top 10 anymore, which is very surprising. He's actually been mocked to Philadelphia, I've seen a lot. So your final top 10, Ethan Hankins, Enander DeSaitis, Carter Stewart, Matthew Liberatore, Jackson Kowar, Ryan Rollison, Brady Singer, Nolan Gorman, Sean Gell, and Travis Swaggerty. Your final top 10, according to the BNN reports. Let's get into this first-year player draft. I said this with the Marlins. I said this with the Angels. I'll always say it when I'm taking over a team like this, and even if I'm not taking over a team like this that doesn't have a farm system, the first draft in your OOTP save is definitely very important. It kind of sets the tone for how successful you're going to be. If you hit on a few picks in this first draft that you do, you'll probably have success later on, whereas if you just completely fan on every single one of your picks, and obviously you're going to fan on a good number of them because you're picking 35 guys, but if you fan on especially your first 2 or 3 picks, if you fan on every single one of them, chances are it's going to be very tough in the later going. So let's continue the draft, and let's make sure we're looking at all players, look at the potential rating. So let's just auto draft and see who gets picked until we get up to number 14. So the Detroit Tigers go with the shortstop, Nolan Gorman, out of O'Connor High School in Glendale, Arizona. It seems like he could be an absolute stud. So that's probably a good pick for them. Extremely hard sign for Seattle. I don't know what he was for Detroit. Let's just keep going. San Francisco takes Nick Madrigal from Oregon State. I think it's Oregon State. I want to make sure I'm correct. Yeah, Oregon State. So they take the shortstop as well. Let's see who my Philadelphia Phillies take. They take Seth Beer. Seth Beer has really fallen off the prospect lists, but people that have played OOTP before would know that this guy typically, it goes one of two ways. Either it seems like he gets injured and he doesn't do much, or he becomes a stud in the past versions of Out of the Park Baseball. So we'll see what happens here. He definitely has the home run power, the good eye. Not really a ton of speed. Defensively, it seems like he's going to be a little raw, but in college for Clemson, or that's actually high school, I suppose, in 2013. It's actually, okay, so that would have been high school. So they take Seth Beer. The Chicago White Sox end up taking Enander DeSaitis. He was in that top 10. Griffin Conine goes to the Cincinnati Reds. The New York Mets take pitcher Ethan Hankins. He was supposedly the number 1 guy, and I can see why. It seems like, I probably wouldn't have taken him number 1, but I see why he is so highly touted. Forsyth Central High School in Cumming, Georgia. Auto draft for San Diego. San Diego gets Bryce Terang. Atlanta gets Brady Singer, the pitcher out of Florida. I was kind of hoping he would drop. So it's the 9th pick now for the Oakland Athletics. They get Casey Mize, the pitcher out of, I want to say, Auburn. Yep, that would have been an easy sign for us if he had dropped. That's a guy I would have loved to have taken. Yeah, that would have been nice. So we are now at number 10. Pirates will take pitcher Matthew Liberatore. Now the Baltimore Orioles take Travis Swaggerty. The Toronto Blue Jays take Carter Stewart, and now the Miami Marlins will take Kendall Simmons, and it is now time for your Seattle Mariners to make a pick. Cal Conley, I've picked him before in several drafts, but I'm not going to take him this time. He's not what I would look for, so we're still looking at all players. So you see all the 5-star potential guys are basically gone. So let's just see who we got here. Just looking for names at this point mainly. We're going to try to stay up here. Now the Mariners need everything really, especially when it comes to baseball as opposed to maybe like football or basketball or another type of draft. You really just want to try to pick the best available talent and then worry about any log jams later on. So let's say hypothetically you have like some nice starting pitching depth in the minor leagues. Well, if there's this really good starting pitching prospect that's available when it's your turn to pick, go for that starting pitching prospect. Don't say, oh, well, we really need a third baseman, so let's just pick a third baseman. Just, pick the best player available. You worry about the rest later. So right now, we have to try to find the best player available in this draft. Now, here is Bryce Bush, extremely hard sign. He's out of high school. Now, I typically I would like to try to avoid picking a high school player. Well, with a pick like this, they just tend to be very volatile. Not that they can't be good, but they just tend to be very volatile. So it seems like this guy could maybe be kind of similar to a Joey Gallo in that he's not going to hit for a high average, but he has the 60 potential grade gap power, the 70 potential grade home run power, the solid eye. He's probably going to strike out a fair bit. So he enjoys hanging out with teammates after the game. 4-star potential. I'm not really too worried about the stars, but just something to keep in mind. Nick Decker. Now, this is a guy that I would definitely like to look at. And I like this. So he actually went to Seneca in Tabernacle, New Jersey, which is very close to where I am from. I'm in South Jersey. That is where this school is as well. So he's an impossible sign. If he's there in the second round, I'm going to probably take a chance on him because I like his ratings. So we'll have to wait and see. This is definitely a guy I would like to pick up, a player's player. We have Zach Prajner. He is also from high school, an impossible sign. I think I like Decker a little more, so that's probably not a guy I would look at. Cole. So a lot of impossible signs right now. It seems like the only guy that we can definitely sign in this first round would be Bryce Bush. Mike Ciani, center fielder, Penn Charter from Philadelphia, a nice local kid. I like that, from Glenside. Another impossible sign. We're really cutting it close now. So let's just get into these guys. Here's a catcher, Noah Cardenas. A very easy sign. We could probably go under slot value. He's demanding the slot, but I think we could go a little under because he's a very easy sign. Now, this would be interesting, and he could play multiple positions. This would be interesting because going under slot value here with this pick would allow us to maybe throw a little more money at a guy like a Nick Decker or a Zach Prajner or somebody down the road. So I know some of you have said you guys want tutorials. This isn't necessarily a draft tutorial, but I know some of you might be wondering, what the hell is this guy talking about with slot values, this and that? So you get a certain amount of money every year to spend on the draft, basically, and each pick is assigned a certain slot value. So as I said, in real life, this 14th overall pick, the slot value is $3.88 million. So what a lot of teams tend to do, this is what the Phillies did a couple years ago when they had the number 1 overall pick. The Phillies took a guy out of high school, outfielder Mickey Moniak, and the reason they did this is because they could get him for under slot value and then use that money to get some more expensive guys in the second and third rounds and so on and so forth. So one of the accepted strategies that you'll often see teams do in real life is they'll pick a guy, and he might not be the absolute best player available on the board, but you can save a little money with that pick and then get maybe a more talented guy in the second round with that money that you saved. So that's something I would definitely consider doing. I'd definitely consider going with a guy like a Noah Cardenas, who has that home run power. It seems like he could be, a 20, 25 home run guy. I'd like to see maybe the defense improve a little bit as his years go on. He is only 18 years old. But that's something I would definitely consider doing, because Bryce Bush, he's an extremely hard sign, so we would need to give him all of that $3.8 million to get him to consider signing with us. So we have a Michael Perez here. He's an impossible sign. I don't think I'd want to sign him anyway. A Sam Bordner, a relief pitcher. I probably would not take a relief pitcher in the first round. They are very important. They're becoming much more important than ever before in the major leagues, but I don't think I would take one in the first round. You see, he could have the potential for 2++ pitches and then a solid pitch, third pitch with this changeup, but with the stamina at 30. That's a little concerning. You have Brandon Comia. Let's just click him. He's a hard sign, another high schooler from Sandburg in Orland Park, Illinois. I think I'm really liking the idea of going for Cardenas and then going over slot value to get Nick Decker in the second round. This is, I think, a guy that in a few years could definitely be one of our mainstays in the lineup. So I think that's going to be the plan, because I don't really see anybody else that I want to really splurge on. We have a Nick Springle who could be a solid pitcher, but I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to go with this catcher, Noah Cardenas. Let's just take a look at the scouting report. He has an above-average raw power, looks like an above-average catcher in the field, potential to draw an above-average number of walks, a potential elite catcher on a contending team. So we are going to go with Noah Cardenas, the catcher from Alemany in Mission Hills, California, high school. Very easy sign, so we can go under slot value, on Noah Cardenas, and we are going to, there's the first draft pick, and then hopefully one of these 4-star guys is still available in the second round. That is going to be the goal, and they are. So Nick Decker is still available. That was what we were hoping for. So we're going to go here with Nick Decker. We are going to draft him, and we will be able to get him to sign. So auto draft until next pick. Now, if Prajner is there, I might try to go over slot on him too. I'll have to wait and see. He is still there as well. Let's just take a look and see who else is available. So this is another high school guy, all power, not much else. I think we'll take a chance on this guy as well. Just try to get as much talent as we can into our minor league system. So we'll get Zach Prasner. So that's the benefit of going under slot with our first pick, is that now we can get those two very talented individuals, and we can even get a Cole Roederer if we really wanted, but we're already going to have to spend a lot of money on Decker and Prasner, so we're gonna skip on that. Here's a Brooks Crawford, a guy that seems like he could be a solid middle relief arm. Extremely hard sign, but he's from college, so doesn't really have a choice at that point. Mason Englert, he's an impossible sign, unfortunately. Always good to get some pitching depth. Kyle Bradish, the issue with him is that the control is a little bit of an issue. He's a fly ball pitcher too. Not that that really matters at this point, but it's Keaton Cartani maybe. No, okay, so Perez was impossible. That's right. It actually says it right there. Whoops. So Manny Gonzalez, a left fielder from Puerto Rico. He went to high school, normal sign, a power guy. He could be solid in the field. He's got some speed, but his plate discipline, his approach at the plate is not going to be very good. So I'm not really looking to do that. We have Amico Rodriguez, another right fielder, a lot of power. So this is a very power-heavy class. He went to Forest Hills. Oraj Anu, why does that name sound familiar? I'm not sure why that name sounds familiar. Raj, another power guy. This is a very interesting class of Brooks Crawford. I might go for this guy, Brooks Crawford. I think he could be a solid pickup now. He could probably be up fairly quickly, maybe in a year or two. So we're gonna go with the Brooks Crawford here in the 4th round. We're gonna draft him. Then I'll draft until the next pick. Roederer is still there, so we'll take a shot on him in the 5th round. Why not? We'll take a shot. We'll see how it goes, and see if we can't get him to sign. Yeah, he would have been definitely gone. So let's just, now you're kind of looking for, here's Brandon Boissier, another ryanwaldis special. I think I'll take a chance on him as well. Foster solidarity, Eddie settings, so it seems like he could be an okay fielder, okay with the bat, not tremendous, but good enough. Maybe a nice bench piece, a platoon guy potentially down the road. So we'll try to get, no, we want him, yeah. So we'll try to get him, Brandon Boissier. I'd like to kind of get Jake Bird if he's still available, and he is, which is good. I'd like to take a chance on him and see maybe if he gets good enough to be maybe a 4 or 5 in a rotation. That'd be great, from UCLA. So we're going to take a chance at a 3.64 ERA. So we're going to take a chance on Jake Bird. That is that. I'll draft the next pick. So now you kind of get to the point to where instead of viewing the default, you can start to view the individual pitch. It depends what you're looking for. You can look for individual pitch potential. You can look for pitching potential. So this is what I like doing. This is how you can often find diamonds in the rough, so to say. I'm trying to find a kind of like a good example. So here, for example, so I'm looking for pitchers, hypothetically, right? And I'm looking through here, and let's say hypothetically I see, there was one. This guy right here, this right fielder, Yaya Chentuf. Well, he's a right fielder, so when you go into the when you just go into the default view, he's going to show up as a right fielder. You're going to see this half a star potential, and you're like, okay, well, this guy doesn't really have much for me. But you take a look at the ratings, it seems like he could be, maybe a solid pitcher. Now, not this guy in particular, but there are scenarios where this guy could potentially have like a 55 stuff potential and 55 in movement and 60 in control and then 3+ pitches potentially. And you will know that if you're just looking at the default view, but you go into the actual ratings, you can actually often find diamonds in the rough, so to say. And it works the other way around too. If I search for batting potential, there's often guys like the starting pitcher. Perfect example. The starting pitcher here, you take a look at his ratings. Now, he could be a solid pitcher, so to say, but the 70 grade contact potential, the 60 grade gap, he's listed as a starting pitcher, but it seems like you might be better off putting him in the field, because it seems like he could be a very solid infielder, or maybe not an infielder, an outfielder, I should say. So this is a guy who you would definitely take and then maybe change his position to be an outfielder. because he sees Velo sits at 88 to 90. That's not what you're looking for out of a major league pitcher. It can, can cut it in high school, but not in the majors. But I actually like this guy. If he's so he's a hard sign, but I think we could definitely get him. So I like this Liam Henry guy for a lot of reasons. So I think we're gonna take a chance on him. He's got the good gap power. He's never gonna hit. Well, we'll take a chance on him. Why not? We'll take a chance on Liam Henry. I'm gonna draft him, then auto draft until the next pick. See who else we got here. Now who has power? Because power always sells. This was a very power heavy class. I'm trying to see if there's. So this guy like a Grant Holman, once again, look at this. He's listed as a starting pitcher, but it seems like he would probably be better off as a batter. That's what I'm going to try him as. So we're going to pick Grant Holman. So we're going to drag him down here, draft him, and I'll draft to the next pick. We are now in the 10th round. So let's look at guys that maybe will have a good approach at the plate. This guy seems kind of up and up. Impossible sign. That's fine. Impossible sign. There's that Yaya guy. Yeah. Reese, I like that name. Reese, as a Phillies fan. Let's see who else we got here. Let's maybe look at guys that have speed. Speed is always a very good thing. Now, this guy is kind of interesting. Max Marusak. He has 65 contact potential, 65 eye potential, no power to speak of whatsoever. Should probably be a slap hitter, but 75 speed, 75 stealing. This is definitely a guy that we would look to get. So we're going to take a chance here on this Max Marusak individual. I should mention that, especially as you get later in the draft, this is what you kind of try to look for. You're not exactly looking at star potential anymore because these are all the end of the draft, especially in baseball, is just a crapshoot, and I suppose in any sport really, you're just trying to you're throwing darts at a board and hoping it sticks. So you really just want to look for guys that maybe have intriguing ratings that you'd like to kind of build around. So. Maybe a guy like a Brennan Davis. He's an easy sign. He could be a nice power hitter, if nothing else. We'll take a chance on a Brennan Davis and do that. And let's maybe take a look at some pitchers now. So pitch potential, and guys that have some stuff. That's always good. So like a Braden Zabrinski, extremely hard sign, but this is a guy that if his control isn't too bad, he can definitely be a solid piece. So we'll take a chance on a Braden Zabrinski, get him in there. Sort by Velo. High Velo guys are always welcome. So this is a guy, a Ryan Feltner maybe, that probably wouldn't cut it as a starter, but perhaps as a bullpen piece, it could be a solid middle reliever from Ohio State. So we'll take a chance here on a Ryan Feltner here. And, we're getting late. That was our 13th round pick. So, maybe if he becomes a nice, suitable bullpen piece, that's all you can really ask for at this point in the draft. I think we'll pick a couple more guys and then call it a draft, because then I want to see how long I've been recording this episode for. So we're in the 14th round. Let's take a look at perhaps some guys that just have control potential. So a guy like this, a Cole Henry maybe, would be an intriguing pick. A very easy sign, Florence High School from Alabama. It seems like this could be another guy. He might be a starter in the future, but I think I'd also want to try him in the bullpen as well if that doesn't work out. So Cole Henry, a nice pick at this point in the draft. Very easy sign. Love to see that. So next pick. And now maybe we look at more guys with stuff, like a Jack DeGroat, perhaps. The movement kind of worries me. A two-pitch pitcher, fly ball pitcher, not really what I'd like to see out of my pitchers. Perhaps somebody, let's check movement, maybe. That would, I don't know. As I said, at this point, it kind of becomes a crapshoot at this point in the draft. Let's take a look again at batting, not batting ratings, but batting potential. Just guys that can maybe just good gap power. Anybody have a good combination, like a Brandon Bissett? Did we already check him? Did not already check him. This guy could be a nice bench piece, I suppose. No power whatsoever, but we'll take a chance on Brandon Bissett. That's our 15th round pick, and nice. So we made 15 picks. This is going to go on, as you can see, for 35 rounds total. So we did 15 out of 35. So that's going to be it for the draft. So we're just going to let the scouting director complete the draft. So I will see you guys again when we go to sign some of these picks. All right, we are back. It's probably going to be the last thing I do. I'm just trying to sign these draft picks, and then the next episode we can deal with the trade deadline, see where the team's at. So this is what I was talking about. So the slot value in this game for the 14th overall pick was $2.04 million. As I said, I think in real life it's a little more than that, but You see, he's only demanding 1.1 million, so this is gonna let us go under slot value, and help us try to sign Nick Decker and Zach Prajner. So we will try to do that. So we have a budget room left of that. He has the intention to go to college unless you meet his demand. So this is, for those of you that are new to this game, this is kind of what impossible means. It doesn't mean that you can't sign them regardless. It just means that you have to throw them a lot of money. So it's really how much are you comfortable throwing them. And I really want this Nick Decker kid. I think that he can definitely be a mainstay in our outfield. So I think we're going to try to offer him. He would need a bonus significantly above 4.8 million to consider signing. So this is new. In the past, it just would show the recommended slot bonus. So this is new. It said he would need a bonus significantly above 4.8 mil to consider signing. Now I want to see what Zach Prajner would need. Would he also need above 4.8? Now he would need 3.6. So I like that. So I think we're going to try to give. So you see we have 16 million left for signing bonuses and contracts. I want to try to use some of that on Nick Decker. So we're going to submit a 5.2 mil. So that gets us to 6.2. That gets us to 6.3. So now we have 10 million left. So we're going to try to get Prajner for $4 million. Because that's something I'm comfortable offering him. We're going to try to give him $4 million. Brooks Crawford will just meet his $300,000 demand. Yeah, meet his demand. So we're trying to get Brooks Crawford. I'm not too worried about Roeder unless he. So he would need above 2.6 mil. Yeah, I'm not too worried about getting him. That was just see if something sticks. So we have 6.5 mil. I don't want to use. I'd like to kind of keep that just in case. So I'm not too worried about getting Cole Roederer. We'll just throw him back into the draft and he can go through the process again. These guys were picked by my scouting director. You see impossible signs. I'm not really too worried about getting them either. So we got all the guys that we picked after the 5th round that we picked personally from 5 to 15. And we are going to try to see if we can get Cardenas, Decker, Prajner, and Crawford. And hopefully we do. So I will be back, and hopefully we have some good news regarding our draft picks. All right, it is June 18th. As you can see, we just won a series against the Boston Red Sox. We actually won 2 series in a row. You can see we lost both games to the Astros, then we got swept in a 4-game series against the Rays. But we won 2 out of 3 from the Angels. We won 3 out of 4 from the Red Sox. So this team, 32-40. We are 8 games back in the division, 8.5 back, I should say, behind Houston and the Angels. Game and a half back of Texas in the division. Oakland 3 games back of us. Take a look at the wild card. We are 10.5 back. So our playoff hopes are dwindling day by day, but we do have a little good news, if nothing else. Take a look here at the mail. So let's go all the way down. So we get Nick Decker. He reacted, and he said that he was convinced by our $5.2 million offer, which is fantastic. So he has joined our organization. He is a part of the squad, which is great. I'm very happy to have him. Noah Cardenas, no surprise, he accepted as well. So he is part of the team. Who else did we try to get? We got Brooks Crawford. He signed as well. He was convinced. Zach Prajner, surprisingly, was not satisfied with our offer and has no intentions to negotiate any further. So basically, if I didn't say it before, with impossible guys, you got one chance to impress them with your offer. If you don't impress them, they're gone until the next year's draft class. So he said he will not sign. He'll continue his education and will re-enter the draft next year. You'll receive an adequate compensation pick in the upcoming draft. So since we did not get him for, I believe, the $4 million, we decided to offer a $3 million deal to Cole Roederer, and he was convinced by our offer. So we get 2, hopefully very good outfielders in the farm system, which I'm very happy about. I was happy that we were able to get both of them, along with Noah Cardenas. Another just housekeeping thing: we called up Kyle Lewis from Modesto, which was High A, to the Arkansas Travelers, which is our AA affiliate in the Texas League. This was their number 1 draft pick. I want to say 2016. For Macon, they picked him 11th overall. You see, he was tearing it up in High A. He was slashing .331, .387, .594. So I figured that it was about time for him to get called up. 65 games, I think that's a good enough sample size. So I called him up to AA, so we'll have to see how he does. He is one of the guys that I have disabled AI promotion and demotion for. I can't remember off the top of my head if I ever discussed this in a previous episode, but basically if you ever see a lock next to any of my players, it means that I've disabled AI promotion and demotion for them. So basically, let's say I wanted to make, so let's say you have like this really good prospect, right? Like let's say Ian Miller was this really good prospect and you did not want the computer to mess with him whatsoever. You didn't want the computer to promote him when he wasn't ready or demote him for no reason. Basically, all you do is you right-click on the person's name, and you go down to transaction, and you click this option here, Disable AI Demotion and Promotion. And what that means is now you are responsible for promoting and demoting that player as you see fit. The computer will do absolutely nothing with that player unless you tell them to do so. So obviously, I don't care about Ian Miller, so the computer can do what they please. But that's why you see I'll have locks next to some of my players. I had a lock next to Mike Ford and Dan Vogelbach, a lock next to Kyle Lewis. I have a lock next to most of the guys that I picked in this draft class. So Nick Decker, Brandon Boissiere, Cole Roederer, Max Marusak, Liam Henry, Grant Holman, Noah Cardenas. I'm not too concerned about Braden Zabrinski. I'm not really too concerned when it comes to relief arms, but he's a guy that I'll keep an eye on. So Joe Rizzo is another guy that I had a lock on when we started this series. So that's just, I don't remember if I ever said that before in a previous episode, but if you ever see a lock, now you know why. Evan White, another guy that I put a lock next to. So that's the reason for that. I believe that'll just about do it for this episode. In the next episode, you see we are about a month and a half away from the trade deadline. Of course, it is July 31st. It seems like we will be a seller at the deadline this year. I don't know what exactly I would sell. I can't imagine what I have is appealing to other teams. As I said, I'm not just going to do a complete fire sale and, trade Paxton, trade Felix, trade Cano, trade all these guys. I'm going to try to do this semi-realistically. Hopefully, what I end up doing, you guys will be okay with. I don't even know what I'm going to end up doing. Hopefully, I can do something at the deadline because I don't just want to sit there and do nothing. I want to try to get at least some more young talent into this farm system, no matter what, because that's the main goal at this point. Not trying to win it all this year, especially not now at 32-40. We are trying to build a contending team for the future. That way we can contend year after year after year, especially with the Astros and the Angels not slowing down anytime soon. So, once again, I want to thank you for watching episode number 3. Episode number 4 will be out soon. So, once again, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.